David, I'll start with you. I mean, a politician's promise doesn't count for much these days, does it? More U-turns than, well, goodness only knows what. But too many U-turns and you quickly end up in the U-bend. Is this one of them, do you think? We will see prisoners, British prisoners, go to Estonia? And if they do, David, how much of a farce is that, given we can't send them to Rwanda?
Well, it's interesting, the language that is being used there, that they have no plans to do something.
Exactly.
And when a politician, especially one in the government, says, we've got no plans to do something, you can be sure as chips that it's going to happen in the next few weeks or few months. So I think that they are seriously considering this, actually. They may be denying it at the moment, but I think they're beta testing the idea to see what reaction comes back from the media, from the public and so on towards this. And, you know, it was absolutely wrong to send British citizens to Estonia. I mean, they should stay in this country. And clearly there is a problem with prison overcrowding. But he's going about everything in completely the wrong way, releasing people who are guilty of very, very serious violent assaults. I mean, we have there in the introduction some people who have been in prison for domestic abuse. But I mean, that hides the fact that they have assaulted their partners and family members, you know, absolutely dreadfully, and are going to be out of prison within a year or two. So it's completely wrong to do that. They should be kept in prison. They should be kept in prison here in this country. One caveat I would say to that, though, I don't have a problem with deporting foreign prisoners. So if these are foreign nationals, and there are 10,000 foreign nationals in our prisons at the moment, you could deport all of them. That would free up space for the people you need to put in prison in this country. And if they are foreign nationals who are at risk of returning to the country, I've got no problem with them being sent to Estonia. You know, some of them will be closer to the home, you know, if they're from Eastern Europe or the Middle East anyway. So that would be the only reason I would say that this idea is a go. Otherwise, it's completely the wrong thing to do.
Scarlet, has David got a point then that actually we could free up some space within the prison population if all the foreign nationals who are in prison?
Yeah, I mean, there certainly is a problem about foreign nationals, because actually as soon as they're released from prison, they're deported. And so one can say, I mean, what we don't know is what's really going on. So we know for absolutely certain that this week, again, the prison population hit record numbers. We also know that because of the riots, that people are being jailed an awful lot at the moment. And although possibly for other crimes outside the riots, magistrates are going to think, do I really send this person to prison? There will be more rioters sent. So there is a very serious problem that we do have to do something. And I can understand why, you know, one is looking at all sorts of ways to try and square a very, very difficult circle. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I think that number 10 I think that probably, you know, that's what's happening, is what do we do? I think as far as the domestic abuses, I think there's a for most. So if you have been accused of a violent sentence that is more than 4 years, you're not going to be let out early. And the problem is that, and I have always been shocked by this, is that domestic abuse, which is just being violent and often trying to kill your wife or your girlfriend or partner, is normally done
by your husband.
Normally done by men.
But sometimes it's women as well.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that domestic abuse has always been given lower sentences than if it was a normal violent crime. I mean, I remember being really shocked by some woman whose brother killed his wife. 17 times he stabbed her. He was done for manslaughter and given 17 months.
Good Lord. I mean, what would you say then to people that argue that there are so-called champions against domestic violence and the abuse of women, for example, like Jess Phillips, who is a junior government minister in the Home Office? And they're saying, actually, there's rank hypocrisy there if we're letting out these people whilst we've got a government minister saying that this government's going to be on the side of the victims. Yeah,
I mean, the problem is that if you get given a sentence of less than 4 years, right, you do get let out early.
Exactly.
And that's been going on For
so you think there's
decades.
merit to that argument that Jess Phillips and others are...
So that's always been true. This isn't... So what this government is saying is instead of letting them out after 50%, half of their sentence, we're going to let them out after 40%. And what they've done is, so if you've been done for stalking, if you've been done for coercive control, you're not allowed out early, right? And obviously what's got to happen is they've got to review every sentence, and actually, if you've been done for domestic abuse, you shouldn't be let out early.
David, one of our viewers, Stephen, says, so we're housing migrant prisoners in the UK and we're sending British prisoners to Estonia. The optics look absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, this is an idea that's been floated at the moment. As I say,
not confirmed.
I don't mind if they send foreign prisoners to Estonia, but they shouldn't be British citizens. Absolutely not. But, you know, there's another issue here, is in the aftermath of what I would say are the protests, and some of them did turn violent. I mean, these are protests that happened over the last couple of months after the murder of 3 girls in Southport. We need to remember that. That's what people were protesting about. Some people have been put in remand and have been given long prison sentences just for things they wrote on social media, which wouldn't happen in any other context, in any other time. It seems that we seriously do have a two-tier justice system in this country at the moment, where we're letting out people who are in prison for violent crimes, assaulting their wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, but then we're putting people in prison for some post on X. This is wrong. And it's absolutely crazy, you know, and inverted that we're doing that.
Has David got a point there, Scarlet? Because the former Justice Secretary, the former Conservative Justice Secretary, Alex Chalk, has said this morning that the justice system should not be locking up everyone that we're cross with, as longer custodial sentences are very expensive for the taxpayer. The prison population, of course, as you mentioned, 88,521 people on Friday, and it's risen by more than 1,000 over the past 4 weeks. And as David said, that's in large part due to what occurred during the riots. Now, not all of them were violent, of course. Some of them banged up for flying flags outside of mosques or for writing something on social media.
OK, I mean, I heard the interview with Alex Chalk, and he really wasn't talking about that. What he was saying is that we've got to, which is a completely different argument, we've got to sort out that we don't get cross and send somebody to prison, that actually people who are being sent to prison, they're being sent to protect the community. And there are people in prison who probably shouldn't be there. I mean, as far as the riots go, most of the prison sentences were being given. I mean, it was... We do have to remember how shocking it was, and we have to think about those people, you know, those people in the mosques who thought they were going to be killed, and what it was like, and it's incitement to violence, which is a crime, right? Incitement to violence is a crime.
Flying a flag is incitement to violence.
No, I was talking about what was the... I don't know the particular case you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, but can we remember, it's really, really important that we have an independent judicial system that is not part of the government, and that is very, very important, and they decide whether somebody is innocent or guilty and the sentence, and it is not politicians who say this.
I think there was an element of politicisation of all of that, to be honest with you, David. I really do.
Well, it was.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer specifically said, if you've been involved in this, we are coming to get you. You will be held on remand. I mean, who is he to say?
And the Home Office posted on X saying these criminals, and that was before we're supposed to be a country that believed in and championed innocent until proven otherwise. Yeah. These people hadn't been through the court system yet.
But that drives a coach and horses through the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, doesn't it? Which is completely wrong. And the politicians here in the Labour government, the Starmer regime, as I call them, have done that. You know, yesterday a chap was sent to prison for 27 months for throwing a bicycle at a door of an asylum centre. OK, so he acted in frustration. That was wrong. But he didn't hurt anybody and he walked away straight away. The footage of that is everywhere. You can find it. 27 months for you know, just something which didn't hurt anybody and it didn't cause any damage.